In this video, I'm going to introduce you to over 100 of my favorite vintage race cars in a set of Corsa. I'm Captain Nasty's. This is the Tool for Forza YouTube channel. And for those of you that are familiar with the AC Legends modding team, you're going to get a little sneak peek here of some content that is not unreleased. And no, I do not mean the new AC Legends 3.0 pack that came out. There's another one that's got cars from the earlier 60s, such as the GT through V3i Shelby Mustang and the Jaguar Lightweight E-Type. For everyone else, this video is going to introduce you to my absolute favorite content for AC, and it really is just a tribute to the AC Legends group. I can't tell you guys how much life these cars have given to me for sim racing, and, you know, in a set of Corsa specifically. It's just really fantastic stuff, and they're all so unique. Every single car that we're going to show you drives differently. Even the cars within the same packs, they're all very unique. And if you're new to sim racing, or if you're a veteran, I think you're really going to appreciate this content, and hopefully we can, you know, grow the community of vintage sim racers. I should also say that it is important to support modders, you know, financially. The link to donate to the Assetto Corsa Legends team is the first link in the description of this video. All the content is also going to be linked below, and the link is going to send you to the F1 Classic forums, which is actually the best place to be getting your content from, because it is updated by the creator of this mod. So is, you know, they tend to release things, you know, in big waves, but there are some updates. So if you want to get the most recent thing, you know, this video is not going to be new forever, sign up for the F1 Classic forums, and you can get yourself all set up there. You know, and the goal of this video is really, again, is to grow the community of vintage sim racers. Tool for Forza is a great place to do that. You know, you can see we're just cruising down the line here at the Nürburgring Nordschleife, at the big straight here. You'll see a couple of repeats of cars here, but they have different, you know, engines or something like that in them. But this, I'm telling you, this is a ton of content. It's super fun. And for me, when I get into my sim rig, like, this is what I want to do. I want to drive these kind of cars. And kind of the theme of this video is that vintage racing is a lot different than modern racing, because you steer the car really with the throttle. You know, and not having downforce and being on a bias ply tire like a lot of these cars are, it makes a big difference. And you're about to see some of those differences right here. So this is some footage from the Tool for Forza 2.5 challenge, and we call it 2.5 challenge because back in the 1970s they ran, you know, these two different Trans Am series at the same time, where they have the 5-liter cars, which are, that whole pack is available, you know, as well. Here we're previewing those, right? Those are big V8s. And there's 13 cars in that pack, but these are the, you know, from the Touring Car Legends pack, we selected a group of 6 cars. They're all around 200 horsepower. They're super lightweight, but you still have to slide them, and, you know, they really give a wonderful kind of like atmosphere for like online racing, because the racing is close because they're not super fast. But people who've been sim racing for a long time will enjoy them, because you have to slide them to go fast, which is inherently fun. And for people that are newer to sim racing, I think it's really, you know, going to help. This is a great way to get introduced, you know, to vintage content. So come out, race with us in our Discord channel. We do these races on Tuesday nights. We're going to be running this, you know, smaller displacement vintage cars for a while, just to try to continue to grow this community. And, you know, I think the main thing that is important about all this vintage content is that you get this sense of connection with the car, okay? And it's hard to even describe it, so I would just encourage you all to, you know, explore the content on your own. This is a very, you know, relatively brief video. You know, obviously it's a 26-minute video, but I'm covering 109 cars as quickly as possible. So let's start out with the 1967 F1 pack. Man, these cars sound good. So this is the first pack that we're going to talk about in this video. There's 11 different cars. It's a mix of Formula 1 and Formula 2 cars. I think it's like 8 Formula 1 cars and 4 Formula 2 cars. Crazy attention to detail. They're on bias ply tires. They're very engaging to drive, but they are the most challenging content, you know, that you'll see covered in this video, which makes sense. You know, it's literally the last year of Formula 1 before they kind of figured out downforce, and it's so iconic. You know, you get to drive, you know, Jackie Ick's car, Jim Clark, Dan Gurney, all those guys. Here in the sim rig at Tsukuba Short
in the Westlake Eagle. This was Dan Gurney's car, and let's give it a go here. 11,000 RPM right out of the gate. We got it warmed up, so we're good. You do have to carry some slip angle to keep this car from understeering. That's all the cars in this pack, really. And it takes supreme throttle control to keep it from going too far, but you can feel it. It's predictable. It's super fun. And driving cars like this is definitely going to just make you a better driver for sure. And it's just so rewarding when you have a good lap in a car like this. Try to keep it hooked up here. Top of third gear. And there you go. You can kind of see the technique for driving this car, which is similar to a lot of the other cars in the pack, but these cars are like the final boss in terms of being able to absolutely shred on them like crazy. So yeah, that's the Westlake Eagle in the 67 GPL pack. I love it.
The attention to detail is like really striking here. Just looking at all the, you know, linkages, looking at all the throttle bodies, spark plug wires. Really cool stuff. This next pack is 1975 F1, another really iconic period in motorsports and in Formula 1 specifically. So for this preview here, we're going to pan around and look at a couple of these cars and kind of speed through the pack once we get our eyes on some things. And again, they're so much different than the 67 cars because they don't have aero. And these cars do. The six-wheel Terrell is crazy right there, you know. And if you're talking the kind of guys that were racing in 75, you know, we're talking James Hunt, Emerson Fittipaldi, Mario Andretti, Mark Donohue, Niki Lauda. I mean, it was an amazing, iconic time in Formula 1, and it's so cool to be able to experience that in Assetto Corsa. Let's see, how many cars? We got 16 cars in this pack. All Formula 1 cars. Niki Lauda's car. I've seen this car in real life. It'll blow your mind. It's almost like a holy experience. It's so cool. I should also say that they have a 1969 F5000 pack.
All right, here in the Terrell 1975 F1 car, and let me tell you, the aero makes a huge difference, which is kind of an obvious thing to say, but rather than trying to slide this car to go fast, you try to not slide it like a normal race car to go fast. It's just got so much more mechanical grip and aerodynamic grip than the 67. It's completely different. But at the same time, you know, it still is fun to drive. It has, you know, you can play with slip angle in this car. You can hear me bottoming out there. It's really not the fast way around the track, which again I think you'd totally expect, but see right there, you can feel the car wanting to come out on me. A little slip angle there kind of helps you turn it. You know, even at high speeds, you're going to slip this car a little bit too. Like I said, the aero just makes it so different.
Let's have a quick listen to these cars. We'll move on to the next pack. So these are what they call the Prototype Legends pack. So this is an interesting mix of Can-Am cars, you know, prototypes raced Le Mans, and just stuff that is like crazy. I mean, look at the high wing on those early Chaparral Can-Am cars. One thing we're planning to do with these cars is to do like a vintage Le Mans 24-hour thing. We're going to take the GT40 and the Ferrari 330, like you saw in that movie. I think it was called Chevy vs. Ferrari, something like that. And we're going to mix them up with the upcoming pack to do a really cool event. vintage Nürburgring. Bootleg Chris Hayes moment. Here we go. I don't know how to use cam tools. I don't know. I tried with this video, but I'm not gonna say. Anyway, you can see just, I mean, these cars are raw. They're so, I don't even know the right word for it. They're just amazing, and I've seen them in real life, and they'll blow your mind with the torque.
All right, we are here in the McLaren M8C Can-Am car. You can see the tire marks from our quick test lap. And let me tell you, these Can-Am cars are a riot. Just, they are insanely fast. And you really have to be careful with when you go to full throttle. You better really mean it. 4-speed gearbox in this car. They have so much power and torque that they just didn't need the short gearing. So they went with 4 speeds. This car is amazing. Turn, baby. Some of those, see, a lot of these vintage cars you can see right there, you got to have them a little sideways to turn them, and that's what I love about these packs. Even these cars like this that are super powerful and have some downforce but are still on the vintage tires, you really do have to slide them to make them work, but you can feel the slide, and yet the hand animations are goofy. These are one of their oldest car packs, and the modders are in our Discord. We have a really good dialogue with them, and this is one of the packs I think they're going to start working on to kind of bring up to snuff, like the Grand Prix Legends GT70s pack that they just released. So that'd be really nice to see. But man, this car is, whew, could drive this thing all night long. Just super, super fun, ridiculous acceleration. But it's predictable and it's drivable.
Yeah, 8 cars in this pack. Like I said, a kind of unique mix. Ferrari 312, like one of the coolest Can-Am cars ever. You can see it right here. We just gotta listen to this one, guys. I'm just gonna shut up. So this is the recent pack that has come out. This is the typical Grand Prix Legends. It's kind of the first pack I think that came out. What they've updated is the 3.0 now, so the wipers work in the rain. They're getting all ready for Soul 2.0. You can see a ton of cool cars. Multiple Porsches, Jaguars, BMWs, Daytonas, Panteras.
All right, we are in the 1965 Daytona Coupe, one of my favorite cars of all time. All the way down to first, we got a 4-speed here. Good old top loader. This car just feels like a an absolute joy to drive. And it's, compared to that Can-Am car, it feels very tame. But it definitely likes to get some slip angle going. And it's just the most fun thing ever. It's like, and you don't have to drive them like this. I'm overdriving these cars for sure here a bit, but you do go pretty fast when you slide, which I really like. And the sliding is like predictable. It's fun. I mean, it takes throttle control. You can see how much throttle control I'm, using here, but see what happens if you don't get a little slide going though. That big time understeer back there. might have been a little too much slide. Having a little too much fun here in this damn thing. I love just getting them pitched in on the brakes. Like, oh Jesus. Okay, buddy. Well, that was probably a little more sliding than we should have done, but oh, I love this stuff, and I know you guys are too. I mean, if you get some practice, you get some seat time in a car like this, it's gonna make you faster and everything, and you're gonna have a goddamn blast.
I love the way this Corvette sounds. Yeah, really happy about this back. You know, a ton of Porsches, really cool stuff. So these are the Trans Am 5.0 cars I talked about earlier in this video, and I'm lucky. I get to see these cars regularly in real life. I get to see most of the cars, honestly, that I'm talking about today in this video in real life, because I live in an area where vintage racing is very popular, and I'm lucky that I literally can attend 3 to 4 of these events per year. And these guys always steal the show. The Trans Am cars, the people that own these cars absolutely drive the wheels off of them. They slide the piss out of them all the time. And they just have a lot of fun driving them. We have a lot of fun driving them too. And I hope you guys that are watching this video have fun driving them, because I'm telling you, all this stuff is great, you know, that's featured in this video. But man, I did a league race in these cars, and it was one of the best set of course events I've ever done in my life. So you can see it's a, you know, wide variety. It's got all the Trans Am cars that were big in the early 70s, you know, Javelins, Firebirds, you know, multiple Camaros, multiple Mustangs, Dodge Darts, you know, Challengers, all this stuff that you'd want to see.
Alright, give one of these Trans Am cars a shot. This is the 1970 Boss Mustang 302. It does not have a race car interior, which kind of bums me out. But when you drive this car, you will not be bummed out. Similar to the Daytona, but it's got a longer wheelbase and it's much heavier. You can feel that weight in the brakes. Might have too aggressive of a tune on this thing. I actually have a tune on this from when I was racing the car. The other cars I just pretty much had the default setup on them. This one's definitely a little more aggressive, but it works. And the sound ain't too shabby. This car is definitely easier to drive than the Daytona, just with the longer wheelbase. Down to first gear. It's got got the same transmission in this. It's just top loader. Oh man, just skidding it in second, a little bit of handbrake there, why not, you know, have some fun. The third for this sweeper here, get it turned in a little bit on the brakes. Oh, way too much. A little dab of the clutch and we're right back on track. And see, it's not like I'm drifting the piss out of the car. I'm just carrying some slip angle. And that's kind of the theme of like all these vintage cars. And I spectate these cars in real life a lot. And that's how they are driven. You know, they are not plowing through corners in these things. They're absolutely shredding. And it's great to have such a good representation of that in Assetto Corsa.
What more can you say? These Trans Am cars are where it's at. Alright, so these cars here, it's called the Touring Car Legends Pack, and if you've ever watched Goodwood on YouTube, you know exactly what this is all about. And if you haven't watched Goodwood Revival on YouTube, you need to go back, stop this video and look at that right now, because they drive these cars hard. And I'm not going to demo drive a car from this pack because they're all super, super different. That Mercedes weighs like 2 tons. It's got 600 horsepower. You can see we've got, you know, BMW 2002, MGBs. There's 18 cars in this pack. You know, super diverse. I should say there is 13 cars, you know, unique cars in the Trans Am pack as well. I forgot to mention that previously. So you can see the 4-door Jag, you know, the GTA 911 Porsche, RX-3, Mini Cooper, you know, followed up by a, you know, gigantic Ford Fairlane. I mean, the Imp, the Ford Escort, one of my favorite cars of all time. Those things are sweet. Datsun 510s, Lotus Cortina, again, Alfa Romeo GTA. You can tell how like jacked up I get on this stuff. I mean, this is just awesome that we have all this stuff available to us. You know, again, it's all free. I encourage you, you know, to support the modders who make this stuff. But what a cool time to be sim racing. Let's just listen to this Porsche. Awesome flat 6 sound. So this is the unreleased car pack. This is the you know, GT Classics, but it's the earlier version than the 3.0 pack that recently came out. So you know, the new cars to it, GT 350R Shelby, you know, Lotus E-Type lightweight, Porsche 904. There's 2 different Ferrari 250 GTOs, the hardtop Cobra, which is super cool. You see the 67 Corvette, and then an Alpha 33 Stradale that has had Bazza kind of do his magic on the physics. And these are some of the most expensive cars in the world. And it's so cool that, you know, we get to experience them, listen to them, feel their soul, you know, come to terms with them. And I mean, again, like I said before, this is why I sim race. Oh, that 300 SL, how did I forget about that? Jeez, what a jabron.
All right, and last but not least, we have the GT 350R Mustang. 8,000 RPM, baby. Small block Ford. And not Trans Am racing brakes at all. These cars were definitely not developed as much as a Trans Am car. You can really feel it in the braking and just how this feels a little bit sloppier than the Trans Am car in some ways. It feels lighter, but still sloppier. And I have a very similar car to this in real life, and actually was lucky enough to work with the Legends crew on this car. We took measurements from my car. I provided, you know, real-world feedback. I do drive it at the track, so although I drive at the track on different tires than these bias plies that promote so much sliding. Get it slowed down a bit better. God, the small block Ford sound is just glorious in these cars. If you're wondering why this sounds like the previous car, it's because they more or less have the same engine. Boss 302 had a few more cubic inches, but not enough to significantly change the sound. And just slapping these cars like this where you got to carry that little bit of slip angle. I know I've been saying that the whole time, but that's really I mean, stuff like that, like right there, where you're just right in that perfect envelope for making the car turn and have it a little bit sideways. It's so rewarding. It makes for really fun racing, and so I'm really looking forward to coming racing with all you guys that have watched this video, members of our club. We're gonna have a great year in 2021. And these cars from Bazza are definitely going to be a big part of that. So thanks to everyone on the legendary modding team crew. Obviously, Bazza is the king of physics. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm just going to keep driving this thing. But check us out on Discord if you're the age of 25. Come race. That's what this is all about. Support Bazza. Make a donation. And race clean, guys. That's that. This is Captain Nasty's. Out.
Hey, thank you guys for watching. Watching. Nice one. Massive thanks to Assetto Corsa Legends modding crew, everyone in Tool for Forza. Come and find us in Discord if you want to enjoy driving some of these cars and doing a bunch of other fun stuff with driving and flying sims. I'm out.